Thank you. Yay. So we're here at Nubian Hueman with Anika.
Yes.
So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit. I know you've been in this space for a while about like running a business and running a business as like a Black woman and just sort of what was your journey up to this point and kind of ending up here. Because I told you I've like ordered stuff from here. Last time, not this time, was my first time here. I had just ordered stuff online.
Yeah.
So it was nice seeing your like physical space.
Yeah, it's totally
cool.
different than what's online.
Yes,
so, yeah.
it's different. I really like it.
Thank you.
So how did you kind of end up here?
In Anacostia, the art center. So I ended up here because I was looking for a space. Obviously, I was looking for a brick and mortar. I had started out in PG, Prince George's County in Maryland, and but I always realized there's nothing like being in your nation's capital. So I started looking in DC, and our whole business model is about people of color. So it just made sense to be in the area of DC that has the biggest concentration of people of color, which is Southeast Anacostia.
Right.
So the interesting thing is that about I want to say like 6 years ago, the Anacostia Art Center had an event called Luminate. And so it was like this big block party, and it was like highlighted in here too. And before this new construction of this space, we actually vended like next door, which is technically right there.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it was actually like when I first started vending and just had left work and everything like that. So, and then fast forward about 1.5 years later, we ended up in the Anacostia Art Center.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah.
So what were you doing before? You were working full time and you were doing Nubian Hueman like on the side?
Yeah, so I was a district manager for H&M.
Okay.
So I had the DC.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was with them for about 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So I had the DC, Virginia, and Maryland stores. And I was I was more like educating than I was like actually doing my business at the time, because it was a conflict of interest.
Right, that makes sense.
So I was still educating, learning as much as I could, so that when I could, move forward, I knew what I kind of had.
Yeah, you had like retail clothing experience. Right, okay.
I just didn't have the business mind at the time.
Okay. So how did you start, when did you start Nubian Hueman? Like exactly how old is it?
So technically we started in 2012. That's when the business was incorporated.
Okay.
And then, but we opened our doors here in 2013.
Oh, okay, nice. Nice. So what made you want to sort of create, because I feel like this is kind of even more than just like a clothing shop or like a place where you can buy. I know like everything in here is like Black owned. And what made you decide you wanted to sort of create a space? Like even here, we're like sitting down in your space. Obviously you put a lot of time and effort into like the idea of like what you wanted this to be. How did you come up with that?
Well, the first thing was I was going into H&M every day, and I was just like, seeing product, but I wasn't seeing anything that was like inspirational to me. You know, I wasn't connected to the garments aside from them being like really cool pieces. And, I used to travel a lot for the company and personally. And I always felt like I would meet these amazing artists. And then, when I would try to find them again, I'm like, I couldn't find them.
Right.
And this kind of predates, everybody having a website or their own e-commerce store and stuff like that. So I was just like, well, what if there was this space that just had items that reflected people of color, things that we gravitate to, nuances that we understand, ingredients that are needed for our skin. And so I was just like, I'm going to build this business, and that's pretty much how it came about.
Yeah, the way that I heard of you was because on the last Friday of every month, I do a Black-owned business unboxing, and somebody was like, "Oh, have you heard of this like website called Nubian Hueman? Like everything on there is Black-owned." Yeah. And I was like, "No, I have not." Let me click, and you were selling computer cases. You were selling like laptop cases. Yes, and I needed a computer case, and I also do like Black-owned gift guides for Black Friday and for like the end of the year when people are going holiday shopping. And I like including like different types of products and products that generally you don't see. And at that time, when I did the guide that year, you were the only shop online that had Black-owned like computer accessories. And so I was like, oh, gotta put this like on the list. So it's like so cool that I can like meet you, because this was like what, like 3 years ago? That was like a while ago. So it's cool that I can like meet you in person and finally come see your shop. I just find it to be really, really inspiring because I remember like when I first started even doing my Black Friday videos and Black owned business unboxings, the main reason why I wanted to start doing it was because people were always saying like, well, I want to buy Black, but it's so hard. Like it's so hard for me to like find places and find brands, and not everybody has time, because I used to be like on the internet for like hours, on like Instagram for like hours.
I still am.
Yeah, like down the rabbit hole, like going through tags and like right clicking like, oh, this person, this person. So, and I keep lists going through the year of things that I think would be like suitable for the series or for the gift guide that I do at the end of the year.
Right.
So I really love that, like, especially now there's even like more sort of resources that are popping up to be able to do that type of thing, because it's just, people thought it was like so hard. And I was just like, well, I'm going to try and like make a commitment to buy like as much as I can Black owned. And then it was like once I made the commitment and I started just like actively doing it, it kind of just got easier and easier over time.
Right.
And now you have like so many like places that you can just, they have like the We Buy Black, where you can just like literally type in like toothbrushes and it's Black owned. I really love that. I kind of also wanted to talk to you, this is kind of like a segue, about the Black love experience that you do here as well, because I feel like all this stuff kind of ties into like love and like us sort of loving ourselves and loving our community and kind of making these commitments to one another to support each other, and not just like economically, but of course in terms of Black economics, but other ways as well. So can you talk a little bit about the Black love experience, just like what it is and how it came about? And
so it actually started, so we opened in 2013 and in 2014 we did the Black love experience in February. So it was, you know, because my background is in retail, the first thing I thought about was when February comes, which is the slowest sales month typically for retail. So I was like, what are we going to do? You know, so I was like, well, let's have this event, you know, it's Black History and it's Valentine's Day, so we'll do a Black love experience. It was really simple. We probably had like 3 vendors, a DJ, and my mom and my sister were like making past hors d'oeuvres. You know, it was really, really simple and small. And then it grew, and I started to build a team, and so right now, as in the past years, we basically rented out the whole Anacostia Arts Center, so upstairs, downstairs, and then the on-floor gallery, which is 2 doors down. But since then, we've actually grown, and now we're at the Arc, which is on over by Mississippi Avenue in Southeast, and which is pretty much a campus at this point. So the whole idea of it is, it's just us celebrating and loving each other, people of color. It doesn't have anything to do with like relationships or anything like that, but it's more so how can we connect on an energetic level. So we try to connect each other on a sonic level. So we have Jay Sun, he's right here from Southeast DC, so he does our stage, our main stage. This year we also had like acoustic sounds from Dope Society, which was really dope. So it's kind of like chill vibe. They do couches, so we had a couches session. And then we have Risakat Okade, who's been with us for about, I want to say 3-4 years. So she does the programming. So she does, she facilitates with different workshops on yin energy for the women and then yang energy for the men, and then there's a yin yang interplay. How do we connect to each other on an energetic level? We talk about branding Black. We've done like Black like tarot card readers and astrologists, and it's basically just us coming together for a night in a holistic level, but celebrating Blackness like an explosion, you know. So it's like all the photographers are Black, even like the photo booth is Black owned. The liquor, the beer, the wine at the bar is all Black owned.
Oh, nice.
The pipe and drape company, the lighting company, it's all Black owned, and we had about 60 vendors this year as well, which is a huge growth from here, which had very limited space.
The space.
So, I mean, it's just been this it's been evolving and getting bigger year after year.
I was going to say, do you have any plans to like grow it into, I don't know, like something else?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, you know, like you said, as you do your research, you find more, and you're like, I want all of this to be a part of it. Yeah, it just like keeps
growing and growing.
Yeah, you know, but the thing is that, you know, sponsorship is a really huge thing for us. So we don't have major sponsors. The Art Theater and the 11th Street Bridge Project were big partners for us this year, which you've never had before. They truly believe in the vision and the work that we do. But we really are looking for sponsors, you know, just to get bigger, and, you know, even if it's a Black-owned sponsor, that's the first thing we're looking for. But you know, that's the biggest thing. I think that's the thing that's kind of inhibiting us from growing. But the idea keeps getting bigger every year. Yeah. I
totally understand. A lot of the stuff that I do, it like requires sponsorship.
Oh, yeah.
In a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
How do you go about, is there like any way in particular that you go about finding sponsors? Because a lot of people have reached out to me and been like, you know, like I'm a Black creative, I'm trying to start a business or start a series, and I need sponsors and I don't know how. And like most of the time I tell them like what I do is I'd send a lot of like cold emails. Right. Like I will literally, anytime I come across like a business or a company or something like that I think might be a good fit, I will like look up the email or look up the director, look up this person, send a cold email like, hi, like I'm Seren, this is what I do, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Would you say that is something you normally do? Or?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it has been relationship building. So, you know, not like in a couple months before. It's kind of been like, you know, they'll come here, they'll shop, we'll connect, and they'll just see the progression of the work that we do. And they're like, well, how can we support? And so I'm always like, well, the Black Love Experience is a great place to start. But I think a lot of it, like I said, it's building relationships. I think people, most of the time, it's like organizations don't have money just to say, okay, we're just going to give it to something and we don't know what happens.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit of like show and prove. You do have to spend time. You know, a lot of people think you can just send those cold letters and then hopefully they'll come back.
Right.
But it's like, go to their events, post about it, blog about it, tweet about it, and then, you know, kind of follow up if they have other events, if there's any way that you can support, so any way that you can kind of build that relationship, cultivate the relationship before, you know, needing a sponsor. I think that's what helps. Because I know for us, everything is about relationship building. So even the team that we've been able to create, the support that we've had, it's been through relationships. It hasn't just been like, let me just try that and see if they hit me back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great advice. Yeah. See, I'm going to take that advice to heart too.
Yeah. It takes time, but it's worth it.
I feel like I've got like some good relationships and some good teams, but you can always work and improve. You can always grow.
Of course.
So I also wanted to ask you about some of the art that you have in here. I was reading over there. That was something that kind of you worked on. Can you like talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this was an installation. This is currently an installation by Charles Jean-Pierre, so he's the curator. He's actually part of our Nubian Hueman family, so he's actually one of the art curators for the Black Love Experience.
Okay.
But this is in conjunction with Halcyon's By the People event, which is happening in different satellite places throughout DC.
Okay.
And so this one is called Photo Noir, which I think has about 6 to 8 Black men, photographers. And so, you know, with Father's Day being this month and everything like that, we wanted to kind of bring in men, you know, as creatives. So this is just their interpretations of love and visuals in black and white. So
nice.
Yeah.
I love that. I really liked that one a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the other stuff you have in here as well I thought was just really, really wonderful. This might sound like a random question.
Sure.
But do you like change the space up, or is it normally generally set up like this? I'm just curious about like your creative, I don't know, aesthetic for the shop.
So my background actually is in visual merchandising. So I started out as a sales associate and then I moved into visual merchandising with H&M. So the look of the store is something that's really important for me. I used to travel with them all over the world to like open stores. And so pretty much we try to change around things as often as possible, especially once we get new product. Because it can get old and stale, and we want everyone to know that we do get new items often. So it doesn't necessarily be the fixtures that move around, but definitely the clothing, the accessories and everything like that. We do move around.
I really like, and I could see that like some of the stuff seems like it's not necessarily like stationary. So I was just curious about that. Yeah, that's super cool. Do you normally are you just always on the lookout for vendors? Do you just everywhere?
Yeah. I mean, we go to events. We have a buyer, Chris, and so we go to events and we scour vendors. We do that rabbit hole Instagram thing too. We have she and I have a lot of conversations between each other. Like, oh my gosh, that doll is so cute. We need that.
I love this.
Yeah. And, we have also online, we have an artist submission form.
Oh.
So a lot of artists send us their information and then we get back to them there.
Oh, that's good to know. So for all y'all watching, they have an artist submission form.
NubianHueman.com, yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you have like an event starting, so we can like prepare to wrap up. Is there anything that you would want to say, any type of advice you would want to give to Black creatives, Black entrepreneurs, business owners, anything you want to put out there?
I mean, I think the biggest thing, if there is any advice, is that this is our time. This, like everybody keeps saying, this is a Black renaissance, and it is. I mean,
I agree.
I just like reveling in how much we are just transcending when it comes to art and business and science, and we're doing so much right now. So I really think that this is a time, if you have an idea, like go for it. And I think one of the other things is, because we do live in the social media age, I think it's be honest with yourself and just start. Everybody sees for me, like they see the store and they're like, oh my gosh, how do you open a store? Well, I've been practicing opening stores with a company for like 10 years.
10, 11 years,
Yeah, so then, it takes time to get to where you are. And, honestly, Nubian Hueman started with me making earrings. They weren't even good earrings. They were really bad earrings, And when I see people with them, I'm like, they still held together.
Y'all still right.
Yeah, all right.
Y'all still got those.
That glue is good. But, just start. And I mean, that makes a hell of a difference. And you learn through the process. You're not going to know everything. None of us have the answers. Even I've met with big CEOs and they're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing either. Yes. We're all kind of making it up.
Figuring it out
as we go. Yeah. And, you have to embrace that. And, I think also there's this idea that you have to like jump in and leave the job, and I really don't believe in that.
I don't either.
Like my big training, I went to Syracuse, I got a degree. I don't even know where the degree is, to be honest, but all of my real learning came from work. I learned business, I learned communication, I learned logistics, HR, all of it because of the real world experience that I got on somebody else's dime too.
Right.
So I think the biggest, like for me, it's like keep your job, learn as much as you can, and even if you're able to do your business and still keep your job, do that.
Yes. It's funny because like a few years ago I went to this like Comic Con in California, and there was like an artist panel of like all professional artists, people that have done like graphic novels, they've done comics, they've done all these things, and somebody was like, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to like artists that are starting out or like aspiring comics? And they were like, don't quit your day job. They were like, as long as you can keep working and like doing your art on the side, or they were like, there's 24 hours in the day. So like if out of that 24 hours, if 8 of those hours you're spent at work, you still have, and then let's say like 8 of those hours you're asleep, you still have those remaining hours to like work on your craft or like, figure out what you want to do, but like keep your day job for as long as you can. So I'm glad you said that, because I also agree that, especially now, like in the social media era where there's like this instant gratification type, you just see like the end result. You don't see really like what went into it, or the fact that person that you're watching like on Instagram, they might have a day job, which is how they're like funding all that stuff. So all you see is what they post, like that's not necessarily like real life in a way. So I definitely think that's like great advice.
I mean, I'm all about being honest and where you really are. I'm not a millennial, sorry. But
I'm a millennial.
I grew up, and I'm like 2 months shy of a millennial. So, but my thing is like I'm so into like being honest about where you are and how you got started, because we're all trying to get where each other are. So, Yeah, I mean, just be honest with yourself. And I mean, like, luckily for us, we've had great incremental growth. So we started out half the size we are now. We got a grant. We were able to double the size of the space. And now we're going into Baltimore. So we're opening in August in Baltimore.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you. And, you know, in 2020, we're aiming to be street front in Anacostia.
Nice.
So we are the like prime example of growing small. It works.
It works.
It works.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Thank you,
That
Sharon.
made me so happy to do. How long was that?